All right, what's up, guys? Going to touch on now the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament coming up. We've got 4 games tonight. That's mostly what I'll touch on. First, I had a couple other things I wanted to mention. One being RG3 just signed a 2-year deal with the Browns. Find that a little surprising, but I know he wants to start, so that could actually be a good fit. He hasn't played for, what, Josh? 2 years?
2 years, pretty much.
Full-time anyway, so that could be interesting. Financials aren't out yet. It's not official, but we'll add that in the next video. And then another thing, Craig Seger, you'll know him as the sideline reporter and commentator that wears crazy jackets, sport coats. Has his 3rd battle with cancer coming up. His remission is gone again. So thoughts out to him. It's not looking good. They said 6 months to a year probably with him. If he somehow can get treatment that works, maybe 5 years. So not good. I was hoping to see him back this season. He's going to try. We'll see. But it's hard to tell. All right, anyway, to tonight's games. The first will be at 7:10. We've got Miami against Villanova. Villanova is seeking its first Elite Eight appearance since 2009. That's who I have on my bracket, so that means they'll probably lose. But anyway, I've got that. Next, I have Oklahoma, who is my champion, over A&M. They play at 7:37. Texas A&M is 4-0 against the Big 12 this season. So that is interesting. Are they going to go to 5-0? Or are they finally going to lose? I hope so because I have Oklahoma as my champion. Third, we've got a 9:40 game against Maryland against Kansas. Kansas has won 16 straight now. I think they're actually the best, most deep team in the tournament. You've got a post player, you've got guards, you got everything you need. I'd say they're going to win it all. Hopefully I'm wrong because I want my bracket to be right. But what do you think, Josh? You think Kansas is the best team? Or
pretty much, like you said, they're pretty much the deepest team. They've got all 5 of their
Harry
starters.
Ellis is a stud. He's going to go to the NBA easily.
Well, pretty much any of their 5 starters could go to the NBA. They've got talent everywhere. And then Bill Self's an excellent coach. He knows what he's doing. Every year he has his kids ready for almost everything. And pretty much them against Maryland, if Maryland comes to play and doesn't turn the ball over, it'll be a good game. But if Kansas can create turnovers, I see that being a 10, 15-point game.
Yeah, I think Kansas should win by 15 plus if they play well. They're just much better in all phases of the game. Then we have Duke and Oregon, the latest game, 9:55 tip. This is interesting. Oregon's obviously a 1 seed, but it's the first time they've ever been a 1 seed. They could have easily lost the last game they played. Haven't looked great all tournament. Duke is 0-4 though in all Pacific time zone tourney games. So Oregon could be fresher, ready to go. We'll see. Again, I hope so because I have Oregon. But it should be a good game. I look forward to that. Other than that, that's tonight's games. Josh is going to touch on some that we've already seen.
So I got 4 games from the round of 32 that I want to talk about. We had Indiana, Kentucky, back and forth game the whole game. Indiana prevailed, but both teams looked good. There was nothing they should have been sad about or anything. Yeah, Kentucky lost, but they played their hardest and tried everything. Indiana just had a couple more plays that turned their way and didn't go Kentucky's. The next one is Gonzaga, Utah. I didn't figure Gonzaga would make it this far.
I didn't have them winning the game,
And
I'll be honest.
Utah looked pretty good during the season, I thought. But, like everybody else has said, the NCAA tournament is pretty much up in the air. And Gonzaga has proved that almost time and time again when they're in the lower seeds. They just came to play, they blew them out, and now they get to play the Syracuse team tomorrow.
Another team who I didn't even think would make the tournament.
I didn't have them winning the game. The next one is Wisconsin Xavier. Xavier just, it felt like they were playing sluggish. and Wisconsin pretty much did what they did in their first game. They hung around and around and around.
And that shot that won the game was crazy.
Yeah.
That was just a great shot.
Coming off the baseline, fading away out of bounds, and just made it. If that could have been missed, we'd be talking about Xavier winning the game. But the last one I really want to talk about is the Texas A&M Northern Iowa game. Pretty much, at the end of the game, there was I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes left, and Northern Iowa was up by 12, maybe 10 at that point. I was like, I'll just change it to the other game. Well, minute and a half goes by, and I look up, and Texas A&M's down 8, 6, 3. And I'm like, oh, geez, maybe I need to get back on this. And pretty much the tremendous comeback. There were people from Texas A&M that were leaving. The kid that pretty much hit the tying shot, his parents left at a minute, so they didn't get to see what happened. But pretty much everybody has said that's probably the best game and comeback that they've ever seen. And Northern Iowa just pretty much broke under the pressure. They just didn't know how to finish. But that's pretty much the 4 games I liked in the last round. I think Cody has a little bit more from
King James.
Different aspect of the game.
All right, I wanted to talk a little bit about LeBron stirring up a little bit of trouble in Cleveland again. I'm a Cavs fan, but I kind of find it funny at this point. He kind of hinted to reporters and in the locker room that before he retires, he wants to play with D. Wade, he wants to play with Chris Bosh, and he wants to play with Carmelo Anthony. The thing I find the most funny about that is, I can't even talk about it. Carmelo will be, 35? It'll be 2 years, guys, when they're all free agents. Carmelo will be mid-30s, LeBron mid-30s, Wade 37, I believe.
Chris Paul is pretty much the same
Chris
age.
Paul is a little bit younger, I think. He'll be in his 30s, though. I'm kind of trying to figure out where LeBron, what's he even trying to accomplish with this. Coming off of what he did to Twitter, he deleted the Cavs off of Twitter, unfollowed them. Kind of odd. I don't expect him to go anywhere, but the more he does, I begin to wonder. Would love to hear what some of you think. I know there's a lot of NBA fans on our page. Really don't know what to think about it. Josh, what do you think he's going to leave again?
Just another crazy aspect. The first time he left, he put on that show.
And I didn't think he'd come back.
Was crazy. And then this stuff he's saying. The one thing I think he's doing is trying to get some of the other people a championship. I think that's the way he's thinking, but it could also go to the other way. Cavs aren't really doing anything for me. So he's going to try something else.
I just think that's a legacy buster.
Yeah.
I feel like if he doesn't win a championship this year in Cleveland or next year, and then he would leave and then not win with all those guys, then his legacy is lower than anybody could have imagined. Whereas if he stays in Cleveland, even if they make a few more finals appearances and somehow don't win, whether it's injuries or just not as good as Golden State, San Antonio, Oklahoma City, whoever, it won't look as bad. At least he worked hard and tried. I think if he leaves, myself included, I just wouldn't have it doesn't matter if I have respect for him or not, but I wouldn't have as much respect for him as an athlete or a person as I would coming back. I understood him leaving the first time. I was pissed for a week, and I was like, well, if it was me, I'd never left Ohio. Okay, I can go to Florida and play with a couple other superstars. I get it. I wasn't even mad after I thought about it. And then he won 2 titles in 4 appearances, went to the finals last year with the Cavs, had them up on Golden State without 2 All-Stars in Kyrie and Love, which is amazing. So I wouldn't even be mad if he left. I just kind of not respect it and be annoyed more than anything. It's just funny the way it's kind of played out.
Yeah, pretty much. First time he left, everybody was pissed. If he leaves again, I think...
My thing, not to cut you off, was if he would have left in a different way, it would have been different. There's a huge spectacle. He kind of threw everyone under the bus. Yeah. Because I think he knew he knew he was going to leave. That's what I
Pretty
think.
much.
I think he was going to leave before the whole show on
Yeah.
ESPN and all that. But, you know, some guys are like that. He has his own name tattooed on himself, so I guess
Yeah.
it's that ego, but it makes him who he is.
Yes, it does. That's pretty much all that I know to talk about.
All right. We'll see what happens. And before I leave you, I'll let you have my Final Four again. I have Kansas, Oklahoma, Indiana, and Virginia. That could be the last time they're all still standing, so I better get it in there. Who are your Final Four, Josh? Or who were they?
Who were they? Well, I still had Kansas and Oklahoma pretty much, but Michigan State ruined it. West Virginia ruined it. So
I had both them in the Elite Eight. Or
Those
sweet,
two are
one
done.
was Sweet 16, one was Elite Eight. So
yeah, my bracket's pretty much torn up.
all right. Well, hopefully my Final Four stands through this weekend. We'll find out. All right. See you guys. Thanks.